So you can purchase the book will be available at different outlets, but you can purchase the book directly from the website www.turner185ad.com. Again, that's www.turner185ad.com. The book will be released on 11/11/2016, and that is because that's the 185th anniversary of the death of Nat Turner, hence the site being called 185 AD, 185 years after he died. I pretty much look at that as like this is the resurrection time, because you know we are resurrecting who the man really was. It was thought that he would never ever be resurrected again, which is why they killed him in the way they killed him, decapitating him, skinning him, using his body parts for different things. So this was done in a way to bury him from the world and never be talked about again, never be known about again. But you know, the Creator always devised a way to make that situation come forward, especially in the critical time that we are in today. So like I said, you can go to www.turner185ad.com. Well, pretty much, no, I didn't work, you know, with the brother Nate Parker. I hope to meet him one day, because I feel like that, you know, we soldiers in the same struggle. His inspiration or way came through via movie, and I got inspired to write this book. Well, initially I never even heard of Nat Turner. I never learned about him in school, and I definitely didn't hear about Nat Turner from home. So around 2004, I would say, I was a part of a Pan-African organization, and we went to Baltimore on the Blacks and Wax. We went to the Blacks and Wax Museum, and we also went to the Black Book Festival. So like I said, around that time we there, I see a picture of Nat Turner. At the time I didn't know it was Nat Turner. It was one of those pictures, you probably seen it with the Indiana Jones looking Nat Turner. He holding the sword up, he got the hat or whatever. So I went to the picture, seen the picture, and read the words on it, and it resonated with my spirit. I don't really know why it interests me the way that it did, but it was just something about the picture and the man holding the sword that and there was a prophecy that was written on there. So like I said, I really don't know why, but I was just led to the picture. Long story short, you know, I brought the picture, you know, took it home. You know, as time went by, I think I moved maybe like 2 to 3 times, two to three different apartments since that time, and I always kept that picture. It was wrinkled up, old. I had duct tape on it and everything, and you know, for the purposes of, I don't know why. Like I said, I just had a real interest in it. And then it was another time, I think I was in Maryland on a trip, and I went to the bookstore and I found a book on Nat Turner. I think it was the one that was written by Herbert Apathier. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I think that was his thesis. And so I read that book, and even more, I started to become even more attracted to the history, the story of Nat Turner. But long story short, when I was reading the book, I could see a little bit more into it, and something came to me, and I just was like, not something came to me, but from reading the information, to me it seemed like he was a prophet. You know, that he was a little bit more than just a person that was responsible for some revolution. So from there I started researching more and more and more. I tried to put the claim out to a small group of people. They thought that I was saying something blasphemous by saying he was a prophet. These were different, mostly different Muslim brothers, that I was telling this to. Long story short, so then I had set out to show and prove that he was a prophet. And and so the name of the book is entitled The Revelations of Nat Turner, the Empirical Proof of Prophethood. The reason why it's called the Empirical Proof of Prophethood is because I wanted to empirically, without a shadow of a doubt, prove that he was a prophet. And the word empirical pretty much just means that which is based on the primary source, that which is written, that which is carved in stone, that which is something from the time that empirically proves whatever it is that you're trying to prove. So from the Confessions of Nat Turner that was taken by I think the guy name was Gray. His whole name is eluding me right now, but long story short, Thomas Gray. He interviewed Nat. He got that down. That's pretty much the main primary source. Then the newspaper accounts of the time. There's a lot of different newspaper accounts that happened during the revolt and after the revolt. So we use those different testimonies of people that was involved in the so-called insurrection, and I cross-referenced those with the scriptures of the Bible and the Holy Quran mainly, and some of also the Book of Enoch. But through those scriptures, those writings, we show and prove that Nat Turner indeed was a prophet of the Creator. And in that way, you can't really say you're a person of faith and then reject him. So that's pretty much where, from seeing the picture all the way to the end, that's what led up to the writing of the book. Just focus on the events of his life and how they correspond to the lives of other prophets. And so, like I said, I show and prove that, okay, they did certain things and then he did similar things. Showing him, and more specifically, so I'll give you one example. When he was being questioned about when he was arrested, and the questioner said, so when you say these spirits talk to you, what do you mean? And he said, the same spirit that spoke to the prophets of old. So he was well aware that he was visited by the angel Gabriel, and that these same things happened to other prophets. When he was actually captured, he was captured with his Bible on him. That Bible is now in the newly opened African American museum that's in Washington, D.C. So he read that Bible constantly. So he was well aware of different things that was happening to him over time. In the beginning, he didn't know what was happening, but after a while, he knew what was going on. And he was also, and this is an important point for me to make, he was recognized as a prophet by his contemporaries. So this is not a pseudo history that I'm making up. The people that was with him considered him a prophet. The white people around the township was aware of what the people thought of him. They called him different names after he got captured as the fake prophet, the pretended prophet. So, this whole claim of prophethood was something that happened during his lifetime. This is not something I'm making up. When you look at the accounts, the newspaper accounts, it's clear that that's what he was called. The people that followed him thought that he was of that caliber. Even as early as his childhood, it was recognized that he was a different type of person and that he would grow up with a special purpose. What should black people think about Nat Turner? Well, number one, This is an important work because it is John Henry Clark, the elder scholar who is now deceased. He said that Nat Turner is awaiting an interpreter worthy to tell his story. I'm paraphrasing. I got the direct quote in my book. Who and what he was tried to be eliminated immediately, even really before he got captured. They started a narrative to make him out to be a coward, a fanatic, a crazy person. So pretty much the character assassination process took place even before he was captured. So it's important, number one, because I am showing forth, proving in an empirical fashion that he was not crazy. We cleaning up his identity. We bringing forth who the man truly was, looking through the book that he looked to, which was the Bible. That was the book that he relied on to make the things happen that happened. So I think it's important for black people to understand who Nat Turner was, and that he wasn't a fanatic. It's important for the revolutionaries to understand that they want to separate so-called religion from the struggle of independence. But when you look through history, no more stronger or long-lasting revolutions happen than that took place by so-called religious people. I think as we go through this journey as Americans, as being American people, white people have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable about history sometimes. That's the only way that America can ever try to be what it claims that it needs to be. It's like if you was in a relationship with somebody and both people got to make compromises for the relationship to be something that is worthwhile. And if one person is not willing to compromise, then that relationship is going to be distorted. And so it might be uncomfortable for white people to accept that, okay, here's a man that was slaughtering men, women, and children and babies. Yes, they even killed babies. And but see, what happened with the global white supremacist system is not even so much of just slavery, because slavery took place in all societies everywhere in the world. It was the demonization of people with dark skin. When that happened, that changed the narrative from just slavery to something more horrific. It was creating a global system where people demonize people of color. And you can go in any society of the world, all over the world. You got people using skin bleaching creams, dyeing their hair, pretty much uncomfortable in the skin that they was created in. So once that happened, that created something that was worse than just slavery. So long story short, it's a history that must be accepted, must be told in a way that it is. The assassination, what I call assassination hit job, that was done by the other confessions of Nat Turner that won the Pulitzer Prize, was horrible. It was a horrible book, and he was rewarded for writing that book because it tried to make Nat Turner seem clumsy, made him seem like he was a fanatic, tried to paint him as a homosexual obsessed with white women. I don't really know how he got away with mixing those two, but anyhow, he won a Pulitzer Prize for that book. And like I said, it was just a complete work of fiction, and beyond just a complete work of fiction, it was assassination attempt, character assassination. So I believe that people should get this book because is American history. You know, if you are a person of faith, which most Americans claim they are, then you know, it's a book about an experience that a man had, you know, during a particular time, you know, and a lot of people don't like to associate violence with the Creator, but you know, nothing could be further from the truth. You know, in all actuality, when you look at all different scriptures, you know, different people was commanded to do different things that were violent on other people, to other people. Sometimes God sent people against other people. You know, sometimes, you know, God sent people to take away or destroy other people to humble them. So many different narrations and stories about violence happening within the scripture. So it's not far-fetched at all to understand that God will use a man to break hold, you know, of a not only physical but mental chain that one people had over another people. So you know, what he did, what took place, was just a part of the bringing into the end of chattel slavery. And also, as we can see now, that, you know, from the timing of the movie, like I said, I don't know that brother, I never heard about that movie. He don't know me, never heard about me. But at the same time, you know, we would meet at this road at this specific time when, you know, the movie would come out, which is a important work. And now, you know, this book will come out that is showing empirically that Nat Turner was a prophet. Say this, that of course chattel slavery don't exist in the way and form that it existed during the time of Nat Turner and his insurrection. Different forms of global white supremacy do exist. Number one, some of the lessons that you could take from his life on a personal level is a science of spirituality. And he was able to tap into the science of spirituality through prayer, fasting, meditation. These different practices in education, those different practices help him rise up the spiritual ranks to gain consciousness with the Creator. So that's one thing that we could take as an example. The next thing, he was able to break the mental shackles that seem to exist among a lot of people, black and white. And one of the reasons why is because we fed a false, not only a false history, but false education. Most history that people learn is propaganda. It's propaganda used by the founders or the people who constructed the education system to keep the population a certain way, to produce nationalism and pride in the country. And so that doesn't always involve telling the truth. So one thing, you know, like I said, that we could take from his life, what he did was to tell the truth, be truthful. So like, as far as the situation that we find ourselves in today, you know, it's kind of like a warning, is a precursor to something that could happen on a large scale if we don't learn the lessons from yesterday. So like, for instance, you know, the climate of the police killing. So the police killing and the killing that goes on within the African American community, both things have to be taken seriously. But we know that, well, all social scientists, black psychologists understand that the killing that's happening within the black community is a result of the global white supremacist system, the remnants of chattel slavery that have yet to been fully dealt with among African American people. So that's one thing. And so black people can take that lesson, and really anybody can take that lesson on how to free yourself mentally from propaganda and false history, false education. but it's a warning to this country. If this country erupted in widespread violence, widespread rebellion and revolution, it will probably pretty much get to the point where it will seal the end of America. And why do I say that? I don't say that because I'm saying one side will win over the other side. I'm saying that we are at a critical point in history where the outside countries can't wait to jump on a situation. If a civil war actually broke out inside the country, imagine what would happen and how the other countries around the world will respond to a situation like that. So it pretty much would not be good for the country as a whole, regardless to what will actually be the outcome. It just will not be good for the country in general. So that's something that wise historians should definitely take a look at. I just think going forward that one of the main ways to solve the issues is you got to tell the truth. The propaganda that's in the school system, that's being told to the children, which is programming a zombie-like nation, it has to be eliminated. People got to start telling the truth about real history, and that's just one source of the issue from my perspective that I'm talking about. So you can purchase the book will be available at different outlets, but you can purchase the book directly from the website www.turner185ad.com. Again, that's www.turner185ad.com. The book will be released on 11/11/2016, and that is because that's the 185th anniversary of the death of Nat Turner. Hence the site being called 185 AD, 185 years after he died. I pretty much look at that as like this is the resurrection time, because we are resurrecting who the man really was. It was thought that he would never ever be resurrected again, which is why they killed him in the way they killed him, decapitating him, skinning him, using his body parts for different things. So this was done in a way to bury him from the world and never be talked about again, never be known about again. But the Creator always devised a way to make that situation come forward, especially in the critical time that we are in today. So like I said, you can go to www.turner185ad.com.